This question should be an obvious plug points into equations. We clearly have equations in the answer choices, so that part's easy. Now, is this chart at the top points? Yes, with a little bit of an asterisk here because the way that these points are structured is going to be different from the way the equations need them to be structured. So let's take a look. The table above shows the population of Greenleaf, Idaho for the years 2000 and 2010. If the relationship between population and year is linear, which of the following functions P models the population of Greenleaf T years after 2000? So T is the years after 2000. So we're not plugging the year in. And if you did that, you're going to get one of these wrong answers because something like C or D is going to try to take advantage of that fact, right? You can see them minusing the 2000. So what we really need to understand is that these are the P, but the T is going to be 0 and 10. So I'm not going to try to find the equation of the line by building it up and finding the y-intercept and the slope and all that stuff. I'm just going to do my normal plug points into equations because that is easier to think about. So I'm obviously going to start with the easier point. What happens if we put in 0? Well, if we put 0 in for t, we want to get 862. We get that here. We get that here. If we put 0 in, this is going to be 16 times negative 2,000. That's a crazy big, or I guess crazy small number. And so subtracting that from 862 is not going to get me 862. And same thing here. This is going to be 1.6 times negative 2,000. We're just going to get crazy numbers. So there you go. Those are done. Now, again, rather than calculate the slope and risk messing it up because it's a fraction, it's negatives, it's all sorts of things, let's just plug the point in. So this would be 862 minus 10 times 1.6. So that's minus 16. 862 minus 16, I believe, is 846. I mean, I'm kind of just estimating that seems right. So that's 846. So that looks good. And if we do the same thing here, 862 minus, well, 16 times 10 is 160. I know we're way lower, right? That's 702. No, A is the answer. And plenty of people will pick B here because somehow you kind of like do this wrong. I don't know if you're finding the slope wrong or what's up, but feel free to comment whatever your mistake was. But a lot of people pick B here because they somehow just lose track of the 10. And that's so easy to avoid. Just put it in, right? Like just plug it in. You don't have to deal with the slope. As much as possible, I say it's better to plug points into equations for lines rather than deal with the slope formula, because the slope formula is just inherently risky. I see with my students all the time. They get stuff wrong they shouldn't because they're just doing this crazy formula that just generates mistakes. Try to avoid it.